Now, Urban View Mornings with Greg Carr and Lamont King.
Top of the morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome on in. Good to see you today. It's top of the hour. It is time right here on the channel, Urban View Channel 126. We're talking powers and becomes action. This is Urban View Mornings with Dr. Greg Carr, Lamont King, here live Wednesday, November 12th. Good to see you guys back at it. Oh, yeah. Oh, happy anniversary. Look at that. Oh, yeah, I remember that from last year. It's happy anniversary to the wonderful ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, founded 103 years ago today. Shout out to y'all.
What's that called?
I've never been able to.
You never heard it?
I've heard it. No, I've never been able to duplicate.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
I'm familiar with it. I've heard it.
SGR called up this morning. Give us a nice yip for you.
Yeah. Maybe even a song if you know.
Last time I saw them all in one place was a couple of years ago when the Motion Picture Academy replaced the, I'll say misplaced and be polite, Academy Award 1939 Best Supporting Actress for Hattie McDaniel.
Oh, yeah.
At Howard University. Shout out to my friend Felicia Rashad and all the folks who made that possible. And she's SGR.
Hattie McDaniel was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Under SGR. So they came out in full force in their resplendent colors. Everybody got gold. I wonder why that is. Well, not everybody, but those with, good taste.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what you. I was gonna say those with roots. Is that what it is? I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of roots, I know we got a lot to talk about. I was gonna save this. I probably will still save it, but
stay in the car, by the way, because now that y'all have had a couple of days to be in your feelings, we'll actually talk with some maturity and thought about the government shutdown. But anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah. I was we can kick it off, but
No. I just wanted to say that now because there'll be some people who haven't yet got their morning coffee, or young people, you're going to school. Maybe you should be late to school for a few minutes because we're going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
But at any rate, go ahead, bro.
No, I was going to talk about my trip to Texas this week.
Out of office,
I
understand
office.
it?
Yes,
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
That's an inspiring name. So how did it go?
Absolutely incredible. I think there are many pieces of my trip that you would have definitely appreciated.
Well, I always appreciate trying to get some young people some money for education.
Man, that and just the history. I learned so much.
Learned about Houston Tillerson, alma mater of my Jegna, the great Jacob Hudson Carruthers.
San Antonio.
Oh, yeah.
About Houston.
Did you go by the Alamo?
No, I didn't. I passed it several times and missed it.
Okay.
Yeah, they said it's so small.
The OBU, shout out to the Organization of Black Unity, one of the oldest African-centered organizations in the country, which is born and headquartered in San Antonio. You saw a lot of Africans down there.
Yeah, I did. Well, I didn't, but it was.
I'm talking about black people. When I say Africans, I mean black people.
Yeah, I still really didn't see a lot of them, but the ones that I did see that came out to the event, I got a chance to play golf with Gang Green, which was some solid gentlemen out there that have a golf club about 100 deep. Then we were at a black-owned restaurant called Tris, where we had the actual event. The Deltas came out, the Alphas came out, a lot of people came out to support.
So you saw Africans?
Yeah, it was about 100 of them. So I thought I would expect to see more in San Antonio.
There's a lot of Africans in San Antonio.
Yeah. No, it's heavy. That's what I'm saying. The history is heavy. They have
I'm talking about the living people.
That's what I'm talking about. They got one of the largest African-American, MLK Day parades in the country.
Yeah. And one of the oldest Juneteenths as well.
And the oldest Juneteenths as well.
Yeah.
So they also, there's an organization called SACAM, which is San Antonio African American and Community Archive and Museum, where they just purchased a 100,000 square foot building for the museum that's supposed to open in 28. That when open will be the third largest in the country, behind the one in D.C. and the one in Detroit. And we got a guided personal tour by their executive staff. And let me tell you,
Charles Wright is pretty big. I'm wondering how big the Wilberforce National African American Museum and Cultural Center is now that I think about it. But anyway, it's big. It's going to be big.
Huge. So what they did was they bought a old department store chain, right? And it's a department store where it was a time when we couldn't go in it. And so they
and then performed an exorcism and brought all the ancestors in.
Man, phenomenal. The renderings are phenomenal. So we're going to have one of the operations managers on here very, very soon to talk about that. And then Sunday, of course, I went up the road to Austin, Texas, stopped at the Buc-ee's in honor of many of our listeners who have called in to put me on game. I'm officially hip to the Buc-ee's. The brisket is top notch.
Wait a minute, hold on.
The Tim Scott
Wait a minute, hold on.
Superstore.
Are you doing an advertisement for Buc-ee's?
No, I went and I did
You
a
said
field
the
trip.
brisket is top
This
notch.
is top notch because I don't eat brisket. And
you ate brisket
and then
there?
I ate brisket there.
Okay, y'all.
They said you had to.
We're starting out with a bang.
The
this
first
morning.
person I heard about Buc-ee's was from you.
Yeah, exactly. But you didn't hear me eating the brisket.
Well,
brother.
you solicited the
Did
brisket.
you have some of the nuts?
I did not.
You didn't have any of the
No,
nuts?
not Tim Scott's nuts.
Okay.
No.
I'm just because of course Buc-ee's began in Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was
They had the CEO of Buc-ee's on in a minute since I'm giving out his.
Nah,
bread.
no way. My tour
You
guide.
sure?
My tour
You
guide.
said the brisket was top notch.
It was
though,
top
brother.
notch. I mean,
Okay.
it was
All
good
right.
brisket.
Okay.
It was a good little sample. I didn't pay for it. So our tour guide.
Oh, you.
Our tour guide.
Hold on, man. Let me just advise you. I'm not in any form of
No, it was a
counsel,
sample.
but I'm just
It was
saying.
a sample.
Really?
They give out samples.
Oh, yeah.
You
Okay.
just asked for a sample. Yeah, I wasn't paying for nothing in there.
I see.
So
That's important to know.
Yeah.
I didn't pay for anything.
I was on a field trip.
Okay.
So
You said the tour guide?
yeah, our tour guide.
You had a Buc-ee's tour guide?
No. My guy Gary, who brought me out there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He said we got to. I heard y'all talking about Buc-ee's. We got to stop at the Tim Scott Superstore. So then we headed up to Houston Tillerson. Even more rich history. And when I tell you, this small institution of about 1,200 students, the 30 to 40 students that represent the collegiate 100, they are the future of our country. We might be in good hands.
Our country?
Yes.
Future of Black America.
This is Black America.
Okay.
That's our country.
I just want to make sure
Yeah, stateside.
for you.
Jump
Jump
some of the most
10
amazing.
toes down in this mess because this
individual-
thing getting ready to fall apart.
Oh,
In fact,
absolutely.
it's already falling
Yeah.
apart. Shout out to MAGA Mike Johnson. The MAGA Muppet must really, I don't know how many times they had changed his diaper since they announced the rise of the shutdown because he wasn't expecting that. But we'll get into that. Yeah. So it's the future of our country.
Future of
I see.
our community in good
our
hands
nation,
with
rather, I would probably say.
these individuals 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
I mean, just ahead of the curve and mindful, intelligent, thought-provoking, and we had a sit-down conversation on stage, panel discussion with the scholarship doctor who's been on this show before, Tyler Campbell, who is Earl Campbell, the great NFL running back, his son.
Tyler Rose.
Yeah, so he spoke about his battles with MS and with the current situation with Medicaid and the healthcare system under attack. We had some representatives from Travis County voter registration board. She gave Dr. Virginia Stewart gave an impassioned speech motivating young people to stay active. And of course, Mr. Andre Patterson, who's an avid listener to this show this channel, since it's been here for the last 10, 11 years. He's the president of the 100 Black Men of Austin. He spoke, and we closed it out. Man, it was super emotional. It was up-tempo, and it was just a big deal. So I want to shout out everybody that came out between San Antonio and Austin this past weekend. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Wonderful.
Out of the office. Look for the next destination
Out of the
city.
office. Where is the office, by the way?
The office is here. For me.
Okay.
For me.
I see.
So when I get out and touch the people and I set my status to away, I'm out of the office. So look for the next city on the list for our convocation series.
Convocation.
That's what we call it. It's the start of a new season every day.
I see.
So there it is. That was my weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Covered a lot of ground. Flights was cool. No delays.
No problems?
I was in and out. And yes. I don't like flying. But if you got some flights coming up, take that first one. Take that first one in the morning. 5, 6 is twice as likely to not have delays. That's statistically speaking. So take that first one. So I was out at 6 a.m. going and out at 6 a.m. coming, and I had no issues. A little bit of turbulence, but it was cool. I got over it. So yeah, what you get into this weekend? Good brother. A lot of people asked about you, by the way.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
What'd you tell them?
Oh, it's my guy. I told him, he's doing fine. I said, why'd you bring him? He's somewhere reading. He's reading right now. That's what he thought.
I see.
Yeah. But he tell you they sent their love. Love and regards, man.
Very good.
Yeah.
Shout out to the African American Civil War Memorial yesterday. I spent yesterday with Frank Smith, who we've had on the show. Frank is the founding director. They're just about finished with the upgrade expansion right there off of U Street, and 209,145 names of African men and women who fought for our liberation between 1861 and 1865. Araminta Ross being one of those people. We know as Harriet Tubman. Those names were read out loud, each of them, over the arc of yesterday, so-called Veterans Day. And as veterans of this nasty, funky, white nationalist experiment called United States of America, I would include all black people as veterans. But in this case, those who have served either directly or indirectly, as was the case with Harriet Ross Tubman, who was, of course, they call her a spy and a nurse and all that, but she was a general in the field. In fact, that's what John Brown called her, the general, and she led the single most successful collective liberation strike in Combahee River in South Carolina and freed hundreds of Africans in one blow with the help of the Union Army. But all those names were read yesterday at the National African American Civil War Memorial, which, by the way, 209,145 names makes it the largest number of names in a single monument in the country and in the world. In fact, many people spoke. Our sister, great elder, the Queen of U Street, and in many ways the District of Columbia, and one of the Queen mothers in the country and in the world, Virginia Ali, gave some remarks. Y'all know Ben's Chili Bowl here in the district.
Did you read names?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I remember last time he came on, he was like, "Next time, Doc, I got to get you to read."
I read names every time.
Oh, do you?
Memorial Day, absolutely. I read about 15 pages yesterday of names. And when I got into the New York division, I ran across the name. I told Frank, I said, "Frank, look at this name right here." He said, "What?" That's Alfred Du Bois. Alfred Du Bois was W.E.B. Du Bois's father. Through serendipity. I said, "Look at that. There's Alfred Du Bois." It's an honor to read his name among the many others. Then I went around the monument and looked for some hazes and cars from various areas, because I don't know if I had any relatives who fought directly in the war, but, escaping from them two plantations, the likelihood is if there were some males, and they could have struck a blow with the uniform of the United States military, something that Bozo wouldn't know anything about. But at any rate, the 3 times grand niece of Harriet Tubman spoke. Frederick Douglass's great-great-great-grandson spoke.
Dr. Umar?
And so 209,145 names.
You said a relative
on the
Frederick Douglass.
I think Brother Shoemake refers to Frederick Douglass as his kinsman.
Okay, got it.
And no, but he wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
But there were a number of people who were. So so that's one of the things I did since
that's awesome.
We last saw each other.
I had an issue. Well, not even an issue. Just hard time this particular Veterans Day. I mean, of course, salute my father and several uncles, but just
absolutely.
What he's
happy belated Veterans Day. My father and all my uncles on both sides, except my father's baby brother, who was too young. So all that Saving Private Ryan mess, y'all can dead that noise when it comes to black families. They send everybody.
Yeah, correct.
So let's be clear. Sorry.
But just even with his continuing
Tom Hanks and all y'all
continuing challenges with the VA and them denying his benefits, it's hard to have that kind of honor and reverence of the holiday and all of that.
I have no honor or reverence for the United States military. I'm just talking about the human being.
No, sure, absolutely. That's why I said I at least pay respect and honor to him, honor his service. So shout out to the people that served and got their benefits declined and denied. Keeping up the good fight, I guess.
So let's go around the world before we come to Bozo, because I'm giving people a little chance to get in the car and sit down, because and everybody's in their feelings about this shutdown ending, and I think we should be in our feelings after all. Shout out to everybody who came in to Nubia on Monday night, because we devoted a significant amount of time to walking and talking through that. Because, first of all, commercial news, entertainment media, all the outlets, turn them off, please, because they're interested only in clicks, likes, subscriptions, and so they're trying to just both side this and sane wash this. No, there's only one side. That's white nationalism. That is the only side. And we'll talk more about it. But shout out to them, because it gave me a chance to think and to be in conversation and to be pushed and pulled some. And so everybody who came in, and a couple of thousand who regularly show up on Monday nights in Nubia for office hours, we had a real conversation about this. And thanks, Jack Cole in particular, for kind of fleshing out what this looks like. And we know that between Shauna, Renee, and Omi, and everybody on the channel, Clayla, Reed, Karen, the details have been described, so we're not going to cover ground that has already been covered, but I felt like we need to talk about that. But before we come to Bozo and his crew, because absolutely, let's just take a couple of takeaways, but one that you should really think about is this man whose brain is gone basically wrote his delivery system, and that's all political parties are, by the way. So instead of talking about D's and R's and start talking about delivery systems, this man wrote his delivery system into the ground over the last 2 months. So if you think Republicans won anything, you're not paying attention. But we'll get to that. Looks like the invasion of Venezuela is a little bit closer. The Gerald R. Ford is in the Caribbean Sea now. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And now the compliant news entertainment mass media is trying to make comparisons between potentially taking out the sitting president of another country, Nicolas Maduro. They're trying to compare that to Manuel Noriega. Remember when George H.W. Bush, George Bush's father, sent a team down there to extract Noriega when he was sitting president of Panama, claiming that he was a drug dealer and drug trafficker in the United States, and they locked him up here. This ain't that. In Israel, a law has been proposed and is on its way to being passed. I think it might have been passed now. I'll double check. Al Jazeera and a couple other external websites, giving the death penalty for Palestinians who kill Israelis.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And not the death penalty for Israelis to kill Palestinians. At this point, 242 Palestinians to date have been killed, and over 622 is the number Al Jazeera is reporting have been injured since the so-called ceasefire. There was no ceasefire. The man in the dead man suit, as they would say in the Caribbean, Jared Kushner, of course, with his dreams of what they call New Gaza. So when Bozo vomited on so-called Truth Social months ago and said that we're going to create a Riviera, well, that's exactly what they plan to do, and they haven't stopped killing. India and Pakistan might be the news of the world right now. Twin blasts in both capitals of those countries have them again on the edge. And remember, both those countries have nuclear weapons. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, is threatening retribution, saying this was a setup, was a plot. Well, yeah, and if you want to get two nuclear powers fighting with each other, God knows that's one way to do it. The Bozo is trying to sue now the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, for $1 billion. Hey, man, Bo. Hey, Bo. I know you listen, Bo. England ain't the United States. And BBC ain't CBS or ABC. Ain't gonna be no shakedown. It's gonna work with you. Pip and upper lip and all that. So, and you know, it's interesting.
How does that work?
It doesn't.
Okay,
no
that's
need
what
to
I
go
thought.
into it.
Okay.
No question.
Yeah.
Now we'll come back.
Are they coming in American court?
No. He wants to go over there, which means he's already on shaky ground because they actually have courts. So this ain't there, buddy. So let's just be clear about a few things. I'm gonna go through this, and then let's get some people called in and talk about this. And again, nobody's happy about the government shutdown. And for those of you who work with the federal government or who work adjacent to the federal government, for those of you who work with the airlines or work adjacent to the airlines, and for those of you impacted by transportation, and little scruffy Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, scruffy Sean Duffy, now still saying it's going to be gumming up the works and he doesn't know when things will be restored. You don't know anything, you clown, you circus clown, but you're part of Donald Trump's cabinet, so that would make you, by definition, a circus clown. But for those who work not only directly in the airline industry or who are traveling, but for those who will be impacted by the government's messing up, including shaving off flights and canceling flights, you know that it ain't just passengers to be on them flights, it's also cargo. So if you're in Memphis, that's FedEx, right? If you're in Atlanta, then you're in a hub for cargo. So for those of you who've been wondering why, because you're addicted to Amazon, your deliveries haven't been coming directly on time, and now you're wondering what's the delay, or if you ordered something on eBay or anywhere, Etsy, some of them places, or U.S. Mail even. Louis DeJoy finally stepped aside this year and has been replaced at the post office. They want to privatize everything. They're going along with that. Understand that all that's impacted. Let's just go through a couple of things right quick. Let's be clear. Shutdowns, government shutdowns, those government shutdowns never yield the demands of the minority party. Now, if somebody wants to call up here, 866-801-8255 and talk about that. Please point me to the government shutdown that has, because I looked at them. And maybe you looked at one I didn't look at, which I think would be, by definition, impossible. But, I might have missed something, and that's why we're in conversation. They never yield. When the government does open up after a shutdown, and the two longest shutdowns in the history of the United States government have been under Bozo and under Republican presidents, but Bozo has set the record, and there's a reason for that I'll get to in a moment. When they do open up, it's never been without the President of the United States calling both sides over and said, let's talk about this. And that's going to be the key factor in this for a moment. Now, in fact, let me just say it now. Bozo don't care. Okay, that should be the headline in all the news, commercial, entertainment, mass media, instead of Democrats cave. Last I counted, it was 8 United States senators, 7 Democrats and an independent, who joined Republicans to give them the 60. That ain't everybody. Meanwhile, on the other side was the White Nationalist Party, which has the majority in the Senate and the majority in the House of Representatives and the presidency, which by definition, if they stick together, and they will stick together, because what is the ungent sticking them together? In fact, ungent's the wrong word. I need something that's also viscous but doesn't kind of enable, but rather glue. What is the glue sticking them together? Race. They're racists. I know people are a little uncomfortable with that, and I know there are some soft white nationalists in the party who aren't strict, hardcore racists, but let me be very clear. Racism is sticking them together because at the heart of their orders is their Lord and Master. No, that wouldn't be Jesus Christ. I'm not talking about the religious extremists who are not Christians, but I'm talking about the President of the United States, who's giving the marching orders now to the federal legislature, who is in effect in control of 2 branches of the government. I would say 3, but he's a little nervous now about those oral arguments that took place last week in terms of tariffs. If you saw him vomiting on social media overnight, night before last, he's talking about national security is the reason for the tariffs. Yeah. That tells me that his legal advisors have told him he's in deep trouble with the Supreme Court, because they are listening and saying, hold on, because they conceded, by the way, during oral arguments that tariffs are taxes.
Correct.
Once you do that, Congress has the power to tax, my friend. So he's a little nervous now, so he's going to try to go to the opinion that John Boy Roberts gave him in Trump versus United States, which says in areas of national security, the president gets basically do whatever the hell he wants and should have wide leeway. And so he's now going to shift to the argument that the tariffs are national security. But at any rate, Bozo's in control of 2 of the 3 branches of government. That meant the Democrats went in with a setup to begin with. But it dawned on me after a lot of conversations and a lot of thinking, including Monday night, but not only Monday night in Nubia. Yeah, I see what's going on. It's very simple. If the President of the United States don't give a damn, does he care about us?
No.
No, he don't care about Sam. He don't care about Cassie. He don't care about Daryl, you or me, or anybody listening. He's never going to cave because the man is insane.
Correct.
You had Republican senators who would have listened. And in fact, it's being reported now that you had, of the Democrats who caved, and there were Democrats who caved, several of them, Jeanne Shaheen being perhaps the ringleader, because Fetterman was already willing to do whatever. Shaheen was like, in day 2 of the shutdown, we started negotiating. So they were wanting to negotiate, some of them, from the beginning. Why didn't they strike the deal at the beginning? What do you think?
Why didn't who?
The quote unquote 8. Yeah. And by the way, let's just say the Democrats caved. Anybody saying that now? You probably should stop talking, because what you've done now is repeat the talking points of the commercial news, mass media, establishment media. Everybody didn't.
So ask the question again?
Yeah.
Why didn't
they do it from the beginning if several of them wanted to do it from the beginning?
Why didn't they do it from the beginning?
What happened between the first day of the shutdown and the day they announced they're going to cave? It was a big event. In fact, it's only a little over a week ago. It's a week ago yesterday.
Shit, what'd I miss? November 1st?
November the 4th.
Oh, the elections.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you think the effect of telling people they can't eat, your people out of work, particularly, let's say, I don't know, let me think of a region of the country and a state that had an election last. Oh, yeah, Northern Virginia, where a lot of these people live. Mm-hmm. What do you think the effect of potentially putting this on the Republicans did? Did it have any effect, you think, on the midterm, on the off-year elections?
I think so.
Absolutely. So,
yeah. So why
if you're Chuck Schumer.
Why didn't you keep that going, that momentum?
Okay, let's go back to the first thing I said. Minority parties have never won a major concession, in the wake of a shutdown.
Okay.
You're not going to win. Some people let's make a deal right now. I don't know any of this firsthand, but again, I talk to and listen to a lot of people.
Okay, I see where you're going.
Okay, tell me, because I think it's common sense now, right?
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's putting you. I mean, you.
No, but go ahead.
Yeah, you're putting the pieces together. History will tell you you're not going to win. You have no chance to win. You waited to the election to see that sentiment is gaining against the Republican Party.
For real reasons, for tangible reasons.
Right,
yeah.
tangible reasons.
Yeah.
So you make the deal to move the process along, to get back to work, but to also reinforce between now and the midterms.
Well, that's now.
That's
now, right. But for the elections, you push it past the off-season elections in part because that's going to be a sentiment that helps you. I don't know what happened last Tuesday. Hey, blue wave.
Yeah, campaign.
No question.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not.
If you don't want to go back to that,
right.
This is who you vote for.
And I don't give a damn about Chuck Schumer. Let me be very clear about this. I'm not defending the Democratic Party. I'm no shield for the Democrats. I'm talking intelligently. And if you got some other points, let's have this conversation this morning. But let's be crystal clear. This ain't a motion. And for those of you who may have caught any of the rantings of Lenard McKelvey over the last couple of weeks, let's just be clear. Lenard McKelvey was right that they weren't going to cave. But Lenard McKelvey, like anybody else trying to study something that he don't know nothing about in 50 seconds, got some things tangled up in his head, which is why I agree completely with Roland Sebastian Martin that you should never listen to Lenard McKelvey about politics. Let him kiki about gossip and movies, and I think Puffy enters rehab this week or something like that. He's got permission from the courts to do it. But at any rate, let's continue. Now, why Trump doesn't care. So let's just take him off the board. He's the Lord and Master, but he's the quarterback of this as well. Your Lord and Master is insane, and he's a quarterback, and he don't care. The cruelty is the point. Remember the Mar-a-Lago Great Gatsby themed party. That was some evil-ish. That's some evil-ish. That's some cruelty is the point-ish. Oh, they're going to cancel food stamps. Let's have a 1920s, right before the Great Depression party with a girl in a damn champagne glass outside, half naked, and everybody dance. Let's do it. I'm telling y'all, I don't care. But there's a nasty little piece of work on his team who does care. That's that nasty little piece of work, Russell Vogt. Vogt wants to fire everybody anyway, right? So Vogt at the Office of Management and Budget, which has wide leeway, say, okay, keep the government shut down. I want the government shut down. Why? Because if it goes on too long, what are those people who work for the federal government going to have to do?
They're going to have to quit.
And that's exactly right, and find another job. So now we're getting ready to collect. Let's just keep it going. You want to take a break for a minute, come back on the other side? While y'all chew on that, come back on the other end, we're going to finish this up. But let's be clear. This is the calm, reasoned, let's think about it. Think about it work. Back in a moment, huh?
This is Urban View Mornings, weekdays from 7 to 10 a.m. East on Sirius XM Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action.